Hey anime enthusiasts, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the mesmerizing world of Tower of God, where wishes come true and the ascent of the tower is filled with twists, turns, and unexpected alliances. Join me as we unravel the mysteries of Bam, the irregular protagonist, Princess Yuri's legendary sword, and the challenges within the tower. From alliances to betrayals, so grab your snacks, settle in, and let's explore the layers of Tower of God. The story begins with the place where wishes come true upon reaching the summit. Rachel, closely pursued by Bam, is determined to climb. When Bam catches up, Rachel apologizes, expressing her need to ascend alone. In a sudden burst of light, she vanishes and the tower doors swing open.
Magic.
Driven by an obsession with Rachel, Bam enters the tower, encountering Hedon, its guardian. Hedon urges him to take a test involving breaking a ball in a cage while dodging an attacking eel. Despite the warned peril, Bam presses on. Along the way, a girl and a boy speak an unknown language to him. Evans, the boy, provides a ball for understanding. They dub him an irregular for independently opening the tower door. The girl, Princess Yuri of Jahad, joins them. Despite Evans' caution, Yuri aids Bam by lending him the Black March, a legendary sword. Grateful, Bam faces a challenging test. Despite his best efforts, he struggles with the eel, only inflicting a minor wound. A fleeting memory surfaces, recalling his past encounter with Rachel, his sole connection to a lost history. In the present, Bam persists in breaking the black ball, facing the recovering eel. Activating the Black March's power impresses Yuri, who notes the sword's selective assistance based on appearances. Empowered by the sword, Bam passes the test, advancing to the next floor. Yuri, eager to retrieve her sword, attempts to follow but is halted by Evans, emphasizing the no interference rule. Undeterred, Yuri persists. Observing the scene, Hedon intriguingly kills the eel with a wave of his staff. Bam encounters a new challenge, a battle against numerous participants with only 200 advancing. Armed with the sword, Bam evades pursuers, some of whom are eliminated by fellow competitors. In a confrontation, Bam faces a formidable opponent with multiple eyes, but is soon surrounded by a white-haired boy and a lizard armed with a spear. The lizard recognizes the sword's power and desires a fight. The situation escalates as Bam engages in a battle against multiple adversaries, including the eye-covered giant. Meanwhile, the white-haired boy, Kun, taunts the lizard, Wraith Razor, sparking tension as Rak expresses his identity as a lizard, not an alligator. Kun questions Rak's intentions toward Bam, and Bam responds that this thing wants to hurt him. Kun notices Rak's resemblance to other participants and attempts to leave. Intrigued by Bam's sword, Kun diverts Rak's attention to facilitate their escape. Taking cover behind a fellow participant, Kun introduces himself and shakes hands with Bam. Curious about the sword, he inquires about its origin. Bam reveals that a princess lent it to him for a specific meeting. Fascinated, Kun invites Bam to join forces. Meanwhile, Rak searches for them while other participants continue their competition. As the 200 players assemble, they're instructed to form groups of 3. Bam and Kun propose joining Rak, but Rak rejects them, persistently pursuing them as prey. Eventually, Bam and Kun catch Rak and tightly restrain him. They are then transported to the next stage along with the other participants. In the subsequent stage, Supervisor Lero explains the rules and uses water manipulation to push participants backward. Bam's unexpected resistance earns him the title Monster from Leo, leading Lero to grant him passage. They wager on who will breach a water barrier first, with both choosing the same girl, resulting in a declared tie.
Yeah, boy.
Lero answers Bam's queries about the tower and irregulars, clarifying that those not chosen by Hedon are deemed irregulars. Meanwhile, a frustrated contestant undergoes an immortality test by Lero, showcasing the Shinsu ability. Eventually, he concedes that his strength wasn't as formidable as he believed. The contestants progress to the next phase, and Lero cautions Bam against getting too close to Kun. As the third test, the red door, begins, Kun reflects on a past betrayal that led to his exile. While waiting for the test, a stranger hints that time is crucial, arousing Kun's suspicion. Inside the test room, a giant clock and numerous red doors confront them. Yuan, the test administrator, explains the rules and remains unfazed when asked for further information. Amidst the test, Rak's desperation grows and Bam attempts to soothe him. Before 5 minutes elapse, Rak kicks a door instinctively, leading the group to pass. Yuan commends Kun's distrust and acknowledges Rak and Bam's trust. Kun departs without a word, warned by Yuan about the contents of his briefcase. Bam seeks to discuss with Kun, who opts not to engage in the conversation. Meanwhile, in another part of the tower, a cloaked group engages in the tests. Yuan and Quan, overseeing the first 2 phases, discuss the hooded individuals who passed both tests. To avoid repercussions, Yuan urges Quant to conceal the incident or he risks termination. Reluctantly, Quant agrees and Yuan contacts Lero to address the situation. Back with Bam, he heads to get a drink for Rak, but realizes he lacks the money for the vending machine. In the cafeteria, Shigesu introduces his companions, Anak and Hats. Lero approaches and shares news about an extra non-compulsory test, the Crown Game. Lero explains the game's rules: protect the crown wearer, thwart others, and stay on the throne until the end. A new group, the hooded participants, will also enter. Shugasu's group opts to be the first challengers, facing off against another group. Anak, the girl in green, confronts the opposition alone, wielding a transforming sword whip in the challenge. Her weapon draws attention of others, particularly from hooded team. Bam spots Rachel amongst the hooded figures, while Lero declares Shugasu's group as the crown holders, initiating a countdown for challengers. As the countdown ends, two groups enter, a peculiar one and another with Sleepy Boy. Shugasu's team split to guard Anak. Hats effortlessly handles the odd group, while Shibusu faces the Sleepy Boys. Sleepy Boy Laura discreetly uses Shinsu to attack Anak, infuriating her. Sensing Anak's sword's power, Black March reacts strangely. Exploiting the chaos, Laura's group exits and Lero deems them disqualified. Anak leaves the throne to confront Bam about possessing Black March, a Jahad princess's sword unsuitable for him. Bam refuses to hand over and Anak discloses that Black March is akin to her Green April. As the argument ensues, Lero steps in, disqualifying Anak. To settle matters, Anak proposes a wager for the swords. Initially hesitant, Bam eventually agrees, fearing Anak might resort to force after the test. The trial resumes with multiple groups participating, including Bam. Kun seizes the crown and stashes it in his briefcase, challenging others to take it. Dodging attacks, Kun reveals the crown is fake, teasing the rivals. The hooded group intervenes. In the midst of Bam's group's battle, it's unveiled that the fake crown was part of Kun's plan. Amid distraction, Bam claims the throne and is handed the real crown. Kun's ability to copy objects with his briefcase is revealed. Other groups unite to eliminate Kun, but Rak intervenes, effortlessly defeating them. The third round concludes and a new one starts.
Oh shit, here we go again.
As Bam's group awaits their next opponents, the hooded group briefly stays before leaving and Kun readies for the fourth round. 3 more groups join. One attempts alliance, but betrayal ensues, reducing them to 2. Kun discloses they are his allies, sharing how he saved them in a prior trial. Rak commends his cunning and Kun rewards him with a chocolate bar. Bam's allies triumph, concluding the 4th round. Kun, though reluctant to use them yet, Bam apologizes, but Kun vows to do whatever it takes for their shared tower exploration. The final round begins with 4 groups. Rak and Kun prepare, but a multi-eyed masked woman distracts them, defeating others. She targets Bam, defended by a hooded group member. Bam suspects the woman is Rachel, but gets no confirmation. Rak questions Kun about bribing the hooded men, but Kun denies it, stating they're from a different exam with no crown interest. Kun defeats one of the masked woman's allies as Rak handles the other. The hooded girl continues fighting, but a broken heel puts Bam at risk. Bam sacrifices the crown and throne to shield Rachel, one of the masked girls. In his desperate attempt to protect her, Bam unleashes uncontrolled Shinsu, severely injuring the masked girl. Black March intervenes, urging him to calm down, and with a kiss on the cheek, he faints. Yuri seeks a way to reach Bam on the test floor. Evans notices Yuri's anxiety, but their conversation is interrupted by a large man ensuring the safety of the designated location. Yuri orders preparations to leave, emphasizing the impressive power of the rookie. Kun tends to Bam on a stretcher. Meanwhile, Lero discusses the test with Yuan, questioning the Crown Games organization. Yuan attributes it to Quan's mistake, aiming to aid the hooded group's progress before Angle detected issues with the other groups. Lero notes the hooded group's disregard for the Crown and suspects' rule violations. Yuan defends the test's purpose to eliminate threats from the tower and queries if Lero has encountered such a person. Lero denies it, and Yuan raises the issue of controlling Shinsu without a pact. Lero cites Yuramazino as an irregular who could. Despite suspicions, Lero leaves Yuan's hall. Walking down a hallway, Lero ponders if Yuan evaded his question and concludes that Bam, not controlling Shinsu, is Shinsu itself, threat to the tower. As Bam sleeps, Kun encourages him to wake up for the next test. Rachel approaches Kun and requests a favor. With Bam still unconscious, Rachel recounts how he pursued her upon learning she was ascending the tower. Rachel asks Kun to lie to Bam, creating doubt about whether he truly saw her. Her motive is to prevent complications, but Kun perceives it as Rachel's selfishness, aware that Bam genuinely wishes to be with her. Meanwhile, Anak takes Black March, intending to converse with it. Meanwhile, indoors, the hooded group girl appears, warning Anak about the sword belonging to Yuri, the chosen princess in the last 500 years. Endorse advises Anak to consider returning the sword and again labels her an imposter. While Kun contemplates about their relationship, Bam wakes up, realizing he's been asleep for 5 days. All participants convene in a large room to select positions before the 4th test. Lero explains that tower fights involve teams with distinct positions. There are 5 positions. Fisherman excels in close combat, position at the battle center. Spearman controls enemies from a distance. Lighthouse Keeper illuminates the tower, gathers information, and issues orders. Scout analyzes enemies on the front line, supporting the Fisherman, and Wave Manipulator controls Shinsu for support or combat control. Kun questions his qualification for injuries, and Lero confirms it. However, in Bam's case, there's hope for recovery due to a delayed teacher.
What?
After the meeting, Kun shares the news with Bam, hinting that Rachel may be someone else to uplift him. He assures Bam he'll see her when they climb the tower and provides him with new clothes. In class with potential wave manipulators, Master Yuga explains Shinsu's significance as a controlling essence, requiring a pact on each floor to utilize specific Shinsu amounts. With the asleep Laura already in pack, Yuga instructs the others to set their artifacts to visible mode, and our boy Bam successfully forms a pact with a giant snake attracted by his incredible smell. Later, Bam encounters Hu and Laura, offering assistance if needed. Later, Shibisu, accompanied by Hats, requests a favor from Bam. They head to the cafeteria, encountering members from different groups. Endorse joins them, questioning how they can be friendly despite being enemies. Shibisu explains his need of making 9 friends in the test, but Endorse dismisses the idea of friendship. Anak arrives, supposedly no longer part of Shibisu's group, criticizing Endorse for dining with others. Bam questions if Anak and Endorse are Yuri's sisters, and Endorse confirms, clarifying they aren't biological sisters, but chosen representatives from elite families. In a class for those selected as fishermen, Endorse must accumulate points by defeating opponents, where she is attacked by Anak. Endorse repels the assault, mocking Anak's perceived weakness without her green April, deeming her an imposter. Meanwhile, in the Lighthouse Keeper class, Kun gathers information, finding Rachel doing the same, but struggles to find substantial information about Rachel or Bam, finding it peculiar. While the battle between Anak and Endorse unfolds, both tossing participants into the void during their chase, Kun investigates Anak's background. Surprisingly, Anak was chosen as a princess after becoming supreme and receiving the green April. Kun is perplexed as the information indicates Anak should be dead. Amidst of their battle, we see Anak's past, portraying her happy life with her mother, married to a renowned cook. Tragedy struck when the cook was killed by other princesses of Jahad. Driven by vengeance, Anak aims to eliminate all princesses of Jahad, the king of Jahad who first climbed the tower and founded the kingdom. Due to Jahad's favor, women become princesses, and these princesses, though not Jahad's daughters, are granted immense power with a condition. They must refrain from relationships with men and having children to prevent the spread of their abilities. Anak's mother defied this rule and lost her life. Meanwhile, in the present, Endorse skillfully dodges all of Anak's attacks. Anak, infuriated by her mother's insult, manages to close in on Endorse, breaking her guard and pushing her into the void below. Endorse grabs Anak, and they both tumble down, ending up at the platform's bottom. Meanwhile, Bam is working on a spell with others, and Bam excels in the practice thanks to Laura's guidance. Meanwhile, Endorse, with a broken leg, mentions her financial struggles in the hospital. Bam and Hats pay her a visit, offering food if she agrees to be friends with Shibisu. Endorse hesitates but relents when asked nicely. They try the same with Anak, succeeding with a chicken pie. Endorse notices that Rachel is staying distant from them and talks to her in the bathroom. Rachel inquires about Bam, and Endorse vouches for him, puzzled why Rachel avoids someone willing to sacrifice for her. In Shinsu's class later on, Hu continues to harbor envy towards Bam, finding his sudden improvement suspicious. A knock on his door interrupts his thoughts, revealing a letter detailing the steps he must take to ascend the tower. Meanwhile, Lero faces Yuan in a meeting. The Ups plan to replace him with Quant, a less competent administrator. In another location, Lero gathers all participants to announce the next test, known as the Joint Test. Divided into 2 teams, participants will earn points individually. Kun discovers he's on the A team, while Bam is on the B team. 2 chasers, Quant, and a fisherman from each team will wear red badges. The goal is to make the team's chaser reach the finish line or steal Quant's badge. Winning grants 10,000 points, stealing Quant's badge adds 20,000. Kun, the team leader, unveils a plan using Shibisu as bait. His win means Bam cannot climb the tower. However, successfully lure Quant in the plan, but despite Anak's efforts with the green April, she fails to snatch the badge from Quant, leaving her frustrated. In Team B, Bam searches for Rachel. Endorse informs Bam that Rachel has already left, and when asked why she was chosen, Endorse says Rachel was the only option. As Kwant's countdown finishes, Kun orders everyone into position and Anak, in an elevator, needs 10 minutes to reach the bridge. The plan is to stall him for at least 5 minutes, giving Anak enough time to flee. Kwant reaches the staircase, realizing he's been ambushed. He swiftly defeats participants one by one, using incredible speed. Anak exits the lift and Kwant catches up, defeating the entire group on the stairs. Yuan reaches the bridge where Anak is walking and encounters Kun. Kun claims she jumped below, but Kwant doubts it due to the fall's height. Anak is, in fact, in a blue queue handled by Kun, attempting to trick Kwant into jumping over the bridge. Aware of the deception, Kwant decides to jump onto the bridge with Kun. While falling, Kun releases Kwant, stayed by Anak's sword, causing only Kwant to fall.
Dun, dun, dun.
Anak climbs back, seemingly winning, but Kwant awaits at the final, snatching the badge, making the team lose. In another room, Kun feigns remorse to the teen for not being a good leader, concealing his betrayal as a strategy to save Bam. Assisted by Laura, they seek Kwant to help him return to the bridge. In Group B, members argue over leadership. Endorse volunteers and is accepted. Serena, initially untroubled by killing, now hesitates. Hat senses Kwant nearby. As Endorse and others reach the bridge, she betrays 2 companions, revealing her past of being adopted into a family that pitted girls against each other to find a worthy princess of Jahad. Meanwhile, Hu abandons Serena to pursue his own plans. Meanwhile, one contestant attacks Endorse with a sword, but Bam steps in to take the blow. Meanwhile, Hu interrupts Rachel, and now Rachel is taken hostage. Hats attempts to buy time by fighting Kwant, but proves no match. In a desperate attempt, Hats clings to Kwant, hoping the spearmen will attack. However, he discovers their betrayal when they flee. Kwant, angered by the betrayal, changes his objective, pursuing the spearmen. Hu realizes Bam will come to Rachel's rescue, but Kwant shows up, ruining his plan. Kwant uses Shinsu to immobilize Bam, tasking him with saving Rachel. In desperation, Hu stabs Rachel in the back. Bam mimics Kwant's technique, defeating Hu and grabbing Rachel. Tragically, Rachel dies during these events. Kwant informs them the ordeal must continue. Endorse seizes the opportunity, taking the badge from Kwant and deceiving him into thinking she stole it. Bam appears at Kun's door, revealing Rachel can't walk due to her injury. Bam has a conversation with Rachel, who apologizes for abandoning him. Serena leaves the tower without bidding farewell, leaving her dagger for Shibisu. Elsewhere, Master Yuga secretly converses with someone, claiming he will recover Black March and Green April soon. Yuan interrupts the conversation, discovering the mysterious figure to be Ren, the 67th agent of Jahad's Royal Guard. Yuan learns that Ren aims to eliminate Anak and agrees to help complete the mission, citing tower rules. Meanwhile, Kun informs Lero about the letter given to Hu before team formation. Now is the time to announce results. Fishermen include Endorse, Anak, and 3 others. As expected, wave controllers include Laura and Bam. Kun and Rachel also pass, but due to Rachel's injuries, she is eliminated. Kun expresses dissatisfaction and is called forward. Yuan questions Kun's discontent despite passing, and Kun requests Rachel's participation in the final test. Yuan points out that her condition prevents her, and Kun suggests a guardian test, typically only for irregulars. The final test involves deep-sea fishing, with Rack asking if it's similar to hunting. As the test starts, Hats group monitors goblins, Rack and Spearman await from above. Shibisu watches the pigs. Hats informs Kun about a missing group, and Shibisu encounters a monster devouring a participant. Kun instructs Hats and Rack to find the goblin's destination, awaiting his signal for a surprise attack. Endorse battles the monster, but her time is running out. Kun, suspicious about the number of goblins, questions Ney about controlling creatures with her ability. In a swift altercation, Ren effectively defends against Anak's attempt to snatch the necklace, wounding her in the abdomen. Taking the Green April, Ren plans to kill Anak. However, before doing so, he gives Endorse a chance to redeem herself by killing Anak. Endorse, instead of finishing off Anak, returns the Green April and receives the Black March, agreeing to team up to defeat Ren. Amidst the Goblin and Strike Pig conflict, orchestrated by Renea and Laura with Kun's help, Yuan's calm demeanor raises suspicions, and later it's revealed that the mysterious boy was behind the signal disruption. Kun suggests that C take him to Princess Mary Evans for healing. Meanwhile, Yuri easily fights Ren. Yuri orders Kaden to eliminate Ren, and Kun declines to see Maria. Hats tries to help, but the mysterious boy leaves, pleased to see Kun has friends. As the monster attacks Bam, Yuri wants to interfere, but Yuan warns against it, and Anak trusts Bam to pass the test. Despite injuries, Bam defeats the monster, emitting Radiant Shinsu. Bam and Rachel face the queen, ready to climb the tower together and gaze at the stars. In a shocking turn, Rachel, looking calm, extends her hand toward Bam, but instead pushes him into the void.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Rachel recalls how the tower never chose her and how she pleaded with Hedon for a chance to climb. After these events, Rachel returns alone, stating that Bam did not survive the monster's attack. Lero suggests Bam may have been eaten by fish. The test ends, everyone passes. Bam's friends agree to help Rachel reach the top, except for Kun, who has doubts but pretends to agree with others. Lero is fired and seeks Quan's help to investigate further. Ewan moves the remaining participants for more trials. Meanwhile, Bam's still alive and he is found by Warrion. Bam questions Rachel's attempt on his life, and Warrion suggests climbing the tower again for answers. She offers to train Bam, and this marks the end of season, showing Bam as a grown man in the final moments.